Modern society would have you believe that the secret to success and happiness is having more. More money, more friends, more free time. But what if the real secret is actually the opposite? It's a lot easier to remove stuff from your life than to add new stuff in. And with that in mind, here's 4 things you should eliminate from your life right now. Let's get right into it. Number 1, making excuses. There's a saying that people who are good at making up excuses are rarely good for anything else. Take all this with a grain of salt, of course. Life is hard, and people often have to contend with difficulties that are completely beyond their control. But even then, you have the responsibility to deal with whatever happens to you. And even though everything that happens to you might not be your fault, it's still your problem. People who take responsibility for their own circumstances tend to experience less negative emotions and have a better overall life satisfaction. This has to do with the idea of self-efficacy. This refers to your belief in abilities to accomplish tasks, reach your goals, or handle adversity. It's the confidence in your own competence and effectiveness in specific areas of your life. People with this high self-efficacy tend to be more emotionally resilient and motivated to take on challenging tasks, and tend to approach them with a positive attitude, believing in their ability to succeed. Building it takes time, however, but you can drastically improve your self-efficacy just by being more careful with your word choice, both when talking to other people and with your own internal thoughts. Your words are extensions of your beliefs, and your beliefs influence the way you look at the world. You should challenge your self-limiting beliefs, because your beliefs are not your reality. Your beliefs are just tools you use to interpret the world around you. If those tools don't work, you either need to sharpen them or ditch them altogether and find new, better tools. For example, let's say you want to start a business. A self-limiting belief would sound something like, I want to start a business, but I have no knowledge of the industry, so I shouldn't even bother. A better belief would be something like this. I want to start a business, and while I have no knowledge of the industry, I have a deep interest in it, and I have some experience in related fields. I'm also a quick learner, and I'll take some time to learn the most important concepts to get me started. Both of these beliefs can be equally true, but the latter is far more productive and likely to get you started. If your excuses are preventing you from reaching your goals, it's probably a good sign that you should scale down your goals into a more manageable size. There's nothing wrong with having big dreams and ambitions, but these big dreams can often paralyze you instead of motivate you. The bigger your goal, the bigger the gap between the attainment of the goal and your current situation. This is why so many people simply give up on their dreams. They're too much to handle for them at their current state. Instead, scale back your goals until there's no more friction in moving towards them. The steps you make may not be anything to write home about, but taking a small step in the right direction is infinitely better than standing still. Number 2, doom scrolling. We recommend distancing yourself from social media for a while. Unfollow influencers, disable notifications, and consider deactivating your accounts. Now, this might seem like radical advice, especially if you're accustomed to scrolling through your feeds daily. But hear me out. Many people believe that staying active on social media is crucial because it keeps them connected and informed about what's happening in their circles and in the world. But if you think about it, much of what's on social media is just clutter. A lot of it isn't important in the grand scheme of things and doesn't affect you directly. Not only that, but social media often promotes sensational or controversial content to drive engagement. That's because content that is shocking, upsetting, or controversial tends to get more reactions and shares. This gives social media algorithms an incentive to prioritize the dramatic over the mundane. Try to recall the last time you encountered genuinely uplifting or educational content on your feed. It's likely that such moments are overshadowed by the negative. You don't need to be constantly bombarded with everything that's happening everywhere all the time. Many might object, fearing they'll miss out on significant updates, but that's hardly the case. Truth is, you won't miss out on anything crucial. Consider taking a break from social media as a way to filter out what's not essential. If something important happens, you'll likely hear about it from friends or family anyway. This approach can also be a great way to start making conversations and keep up to date. Just mention that you've stepped back from social media and ask if there's anything interesting you should know about. Once you've done this for a while, you'll quickly figure out you're not really missing out on anything. As another alternative to this doom scrolling, you could also try journaling. And now is the perfect time to start thanks to the Day One Journaling app, who are the sponsor of today's video. Day One is designed with the goal of revolutionizing the journaling experience. It's more than just an app, it's a tool that empowers you to elevate your productivity, organize your thoughts, process your emotions, and manage life's responsibilities with ease. Journaling with Day One offers a private way to reflect, unlike the often public nature of social media. This private setting fosters more genuine and reflective entries, free from the fear of judgment or the need for external validation. Whether you're writing or drawing your thoughts, feelings, and experiences, or using the app's audio transcription feature to record them, Day One provides a secure environment for deeper self-awareness and clarity. If you want to truly stop doom scrolling, try Day One. Visit dayoneapp.com/improvementpill and use code IMPROVEMENTPILL to unlock a limited time offer of a 2-month free trial of Day One Premium. That's DAYONE app.com/improvementpill and see why it's the #1 journaling app out there. Now on to the next thing you need to eliminate from your life, and that is comparing yourself to others. Humans are social creatures, and a lot of our self-worth is closely tied to our standing in the social hierarchy. People at the top of social hierarchy tend to have better emotional regulation, better physical and mental health, and higher overall life satisfaction. So a lot of human behavior comes down to jostling for social status. Since there's no hard and fast rules to determine one's social status, we always compare ourselves to each other to get an approximation of our social standing. And with the rampant use of social media we mentioned before, these comparisons are becoming more and more pronounced. We're constantly bombarded with people who seem to live more glamorous lives. We're constantly looking at people with rich social lives, fancy vacations, cool cars, and so on. Comparing yourself to others is not fair because you're only comparing a single aspect of another person's life to your whole life. For example, you might want to be rich and famous, so you fantasize about having a lifestyle of some famous actor. But this means you only want the superficial benefits without considering the costs. Being rich and famous often comes at a cost of having difficult, close relationships because you can never be sure if people want to spend time with you because of you or just because they want to gain something out of it. A lot of famous people are often surrounded by yes men and opportunists who will only associate with you for their own benefit. Or consider the fact that you can't go out in public without being constantly followed or harassed. We're not saying that being poor and anonymous is a preferable alternative, but everything comes at a cost. And it's unfair to be envious of other people without considering the full picture. Don't compare your whole life to someone else's highlight reel. You have your own unique personality and set of experiences. You have your own unique path, and there's no one point in comparing it to someone else's. The only person you should compete with is who you were yesterday. 4, toxic people. Here's how you can recognize a good friend. A good friend is someone you can share both good and bad news with. If you tell them good news, they'll help you celebrate. If you tell them bad news, they'll listen and offer support. In other words, true friends won't try to one-up you when you share something with them. If you're hesitant to share good news with someone because you're afraid of how they'll react, chances are that you need to curb contact with that person. Real friends are here to lift each other up, not drag each other down. You should only surround yourself with people that want the best for you. Don't get sucked into spending time with people out of the feeling of duty or societal pressure. You have no obligation to spend time with people that make you feel bad about yourself. If you absolutely can't get away from certain people, like family members or coworkers, at least try to minimize contact with them. Keep your interactions brief and polite, and look for ways to slowly disengage. I hope these tips have been helpful. If you like the idea of achieving more happiness by simplifying your life, make sure to watch our video about the topic of minimalism. And don't forget to visit dayoneapp.com/improvementpill and use code IMPROVEMENTPILL to unlock a limited time offer of a 2-month free trial of Day One Premium. That's DAYONE app.com/improvementpill. Thanks again, guys, and stay tuned.